Today, we're tackling a topic that is on the minds of tens of thousands of people across the country and around the world: the path to permanent settlement in the United Kingdom. A lot of people are coming to the UK, whether for work, study, or family, and for many, the ultimate goal is to build a permanent life here. So, the big question is, what is the future of ILR in the UK? The government has indicated a major shift is on the horizon, moving towards a more structured, points-based system for those seeking to settle here. Let's break down what that means. But before we get there, the percentage of viewers watching our videos has increased from the previous 1% to 2% now, and we thank you massively for that. Please, we still continue to plead that you subscribe to the channel and get this percentage to 50%. This gives us motivation to create this content. Thanks. Now, let's delve in. Citizenship is the final goal for many, and the decision on how to get ILR is a significant one. The government's forthcoming goal is to bring more clarity to these matters. The latest statements and proposals indicate a move away from simple time-based qualification to a system where you must earn your right to settle. The new ILR rules are being designed around a central idea: contribution. The government intends to implement a points-based system for ILR. This means that instead of just completing 5 or 10 years on a specific visa, applicants will need to prove their value to UK society by accumulating a certain number of points across several key areas. The latest statements indicate that there are 6 important criteria they need to meet if they want to earn these points. The aim is to create a pathway to get ILR earlier for those who contribute the most. A contribution to the economy and society is vital. So, let's explore what those 6 most important elements are likely to be. The new framework contains elements that are considered essential for integration and contribution. While the exact number of points for each category is still being worked on, the government has outlined the following 6 pillars. First, and most importantly, working in the UK. The primary focus is to work in the UK. This will be the foundational element for earning points. It's not just about having a job, but about consistent, meaningful employment. Getting points is an essential part of working in the UK. Those who work in the UK will find this is their strongest starting point. The second criterion is directly linked to the first: your salary. The government is looking to reward those who contribute more through taxes. They're providing a scale based on how much more workers earn. This means those working for a higher salary will receive more points. For example, someone earning above the national average or in a high demand, high salary sector would score significantly more points than someone on a minimum wage salary. This is designed to attract and retain high-value talent that boosts the UK economy. Now, for the third criterion, and this is a big one: no reliance on public funds. This is already a condition for most visas, but it will become a critical factor in the ILR points system. To score points in this area, you must demonstrate financial independence. This means you cannot rely on public funds or access most public benefits. The most important aspect regarding the fund is that things like child benefits are significant. You can't rely on universal credits or access to housing assistance funded by the state. Any financial benefits in terms of housing must not be accepted from the state. Prioritizing financial self-sufficiency will be crucial. Now, there are some exceptions. The rules state that in cases of sudden job loss or a serious illness that prevents you from working, some forms of assistance may be available without negatively impacting your immigration status. Human rights considerations are included within these criteria. But as a general rule for the point system, proving you have not been a burden on the state's welfare system will be key. The fourth criterion is where the system becomes more holistic, broader contributions to UK society. This is for those who contribute to the UK in ways beyond just their job. To obtain ILR early, the government wants to see that everyone is engaged. This could include charity work or volunteering. This doesn't mean you need to quit your job and work for a charity full-time. Even if individuals don't work in a high-paying job, they can still score points through activities like consistent volunteering for a registered charity or community group. Meeting all the points in this way is essential. This allows people in vital but lower paid roles, like care workers or artists, to still build a strong case for ILR. The fifth criterion is non-negotiable: a clean criminal record. This is about good character. To have no criminal records is essential. The government is making it clear that a lot of background checks will be strictly carried out, not just for offences committed in the UK, but also in any foreign country. If there are any cases of concern, even minor ones, correct and honest explanations are required. All relevant information must be included in the application. If you have been involved in a serious criminal case, you will not get ILR. The rules are strict. This is a response to growing concerns about public safety, with statistics showing a need for tighter controls. The government's stance is that making the streets and our communities safer is a top priority. And finally, the sixth important criterion: good English language skills. Another important criterion is good English. To obtain ILR, candidates must already pass English tests, typically at a B1 level. However, the government is making changes and considering raising the level of English qualification required for the new point system. A higher proficiency in English demonstrates better integration, so scoring higher on your English test could translate directly into more points for your ILR application. So, those are the 6 pinners. The government will decide the total number of points required to qualify for ILR. If you don't meet them in one area, you will need to find ways to earn the points in another. For example, a lower salary might be offset by extensive documented charity work and a high English language score. But what about those on established routes? It's important to note that the UK government has plans for ILR for those who arrived through other specific pathways, ensuring no barriers to access for them. For example, partners of British citizens are typically eligible for ILR after 5 years on a spouse visa. The government will continue to support these individuals on this 5-year route. Similarly, for those from European countries who arrived before Brexit, their residential rights are protected under the EU settlement scheme. Achieving settled status is their equivalent of ILR, and that is granted after 5 years of residence. Furthermore, pathways to easy ILR are being established for particularly vulnerable individuals, such as those subjected to domestic abuse. In cases where they have to leave a partner, ILR can be granted quickly to ensure their safety and stability. This new ILR system doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's part of a much wider overhaul of UK immigration law. There have been many inquiries regarding immigration laws, and adjustments are being made across the board. Let's quickly cover some other major changes you need to be aware of. First, the Immigration Health Surcharge, AIES. This is the mandatory fee that most visa applicants pay to cover their use of the National Health Service. This has already seen a significant increase. As of February 2024, the IHS rose by 66%, not 32%. The fee for most work visa applicants is now £1,035 per year, up from £624. For a 5-year visa, that's an upfront cost of over £5,000, just for the health surcharge. There are exemptions for some sectors, like health and care worker visa holders, but for most, this is a major cost increase. Next, there's a lot of talk about student visas. The government is now considering many immigration rules, and one area under review is the post-study work permit, also known as the graduate visa. Currently, it allows international students to stay and work in the UK for 2 years after graduation, or 3 years for PhD graduates. A recent report from the Migration Advisory Committee recommended keeping the visa as is, but there is still political pressure to reduce its length, perhaps to 18 months or even less. The information in your original notes about changes in 2026 or 2027 seems to be speculative, but it is true that new regulations could affect future batches of students coming to the UK. We are monitoring this closely and will update you as soon as official changes are announced. All of these changes are happening against a backdrop of economic planning. The government is working towards creating more jobs in the UK. The current government also has its own strategies for economic growth. The goal of these immigration changes is to align the system with the country's economic needs, ensuring that those who come to work and settle in the UK are filling skills gaps and contributing to priority sectors. Visas, like the skilled worker visa and the scale-up visa, are significant work visas designed to attract the right talent. The government's main scheme for working in the UK aims to ensure that those seeking ILR are part of this economic vision and face no barriers if they align with these national goals. The UK is moving towards a new points-based system for indefinite leave to remain ILR. This system will be based on 6 key criteria: work, salary, financial independence, social contribution, criminal record, and English language skills. Established routes, like the spouse visa and EU settled status, are expected to remain protected. This is all part of a wider immigration shake-up, which includes the recent major increase in the immigration health surcharge and ongoing reviews of student visas. The main takeaway is that the government wants a system that is clearer, more objective, and rewards those who contribute most significantly to the UK's economy and society. In the next few months, we expect more details on how this point system will work in practice. For now, applicants will find that there are no obstacles to applying for ILR under the current laws, but it is vital to prepare for the future. We will continue to follow these developments and bring you new updates as soon as they are announced. Thank you for joining me on MarkViz News. I hope this breakdown has brought some clarity to a very complex topic. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future update. See you again in another video.